You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Remember, kid, there's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Follow your heart, kid, and you never go wrong.
You, George Foreman, all of you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him. All of you. I know you got him. I know you got him picked, but the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
That's the reason you're in this business. If you have any kind of pride or any kind of dedication or any kind of backbone or spunk to you should try to be the best in your own profession, regardless of what it is.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
The Chicago Bulls pick Michael Jordan, University of North Carolina.
All right, guys, welcome in Watson's Playbook, episode 42. We got a pretty interesting episode this week as big news broke. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys get the deal done. That is the spotlight of the week this week. Got Jeff on here. Buddy, how's it going, Jeff?
It's going all right. It's just a little, I think we're supposed to get some snow, and people are freaking out. So
Well, that something must be going on because it's supposed to rain for the next 4 days down here. So I hate it. So yeah, that's not very good. We need it in Texas though. So
Yeah.
I mean,
and we need it too. So we don't want to have another fire season like we had last year. So
definitely not.
yeah.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and jump into that exact spotlight of the week, Dak Prescott's contract. This is breaking news that happened yesterday. It was on the franchise tag day that the Cowboys had to make a decision whether they were going to get the contract done or franchise Dak Prescott, and they come to a contract agreement avoiding the tag for Dak Prescott and avoiding free agency after this year if they were to tag him. The deal is 4-year deal worth $160 million. It's averaged to be $40 million per year. 126 of that is guaranteed. $66 million signing bonus and $75 million of that money will be paid off in the first year. So he has right now, he has the biggest $66 million signing bonus. That's the most in NFL history. And 75 in 1 year is also the most in NFL history. So he gets those. Also, in this deal, which is very important, he has a no-trade clause. And the Cowboys, after the 4 years, cannot franchise tag him again. So in 3 years from now, that you're probably looking at getting another contract for Dak Prescott if he plays well and the Dallas Cowboys want to keep him. Now, everyone's probably thinking, biggest question was, is Dak Prescott worth $40 million a year? That's the biggest question I think we all have on our minds. There's one thing, though, Jeff, that people must understand before we start thinking about that question. Quarterbacks do not get paid by performance in the NFL. It's not how it works. It's not performance-based. It should be, but it's not. It is based on next man up. If you are a decent enough quarterback and you're the next man up. It's leapfrog. Dak Prescott is the second highest paid quarterback. Doesn't mean he's the second best quarterback in the NFL. That's not what that means. He's right behind Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes now is getting paid $45 million a year. Dak will be getting paid 40. It's the second most, just like I said. I hate the quarterback market for the NFL. I think the owners hate it too. It's next man up because the quarterbacks know if you don't have a good quarterback, you don't have a franchise guy, you're screwed. And if you have one, if you have got a quarterback that thinks they're good enough and you're refusing to pay him, then he knows he can walk out the door and somebody will pick him up and pay him that big bucks here. Dak had all the leverage going into this. And Jerry Jones, again, looks like he gets bent over the table at the negotiation table and given them to everything the player wants. There's a lot of Cowboy fans that are angry. There's a lot of Cowboy fans that like the deal. I live in Texas. I asked a bunch of my buddies, hey, what do you think about this deal? What do you think about that deal? Who won this trade? Or not trade, sorry. Who won the deal? A lot of people don't like it. And if you're mad, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan and you're mad, you can only be mad at Jerry Jones. Because the fact is, 2 years ago, they could have signed Dak for between $28 and $30 million. They didn't do that. They could have signed Dak between last year between 30 and 35. They didn't do that. The number was only going up. So the $40 million after they didn't sign him last year, I knew it was going to have to start with the 4 to get the job done. And that is on Jerry Jones. Now the Cowboys were able to work it where they're actually paying $15 million less than they would have this year on the cap hit if they were to tag him. So the Cowboys were going to end up with about $30 million in cap space. That's one thing they do right is they restructure contracts. So they have some money to put in on the defensive side, which that's where this team struggles. But what the biggest question, Jeff, what do you think of Dak Prescott? Do you think this contract is worth it? And I'll leave you to answer that question and kind of ponder over those thoughts.
It's I'm not a Cowboy fan by far. Never have been, never will be. My dad is probably one of the biggest Cowboy fans I've ever known. Is he good? Yes. I can at least say and admit he's a good quarterback. Is he great? Is he legendary? No, I don't think so. But there was no other option for the Cowboys to go. They had to do this. They had to make this move. It was pretty obvious. Everyone in the sports media world has been saying time in and time out, it's time to finally pay Dak. And it's time to show him the money. Show him the money. Jerry Jones finally gave in at the 11th hour and paid him. Do I think quarterbacks are worth that kind of money? I don't think so. I don't think that it's worth it. It hinders the teams usually. It eventually comes to a part where it does handcuff them. And if you don't have pieces to then help the team along with that quarterback, you don't really have a team. You have quarterback, or you have the Vikings, right? A quarterback, and then, the team's all right. But again, they paid all that money to Kirk Cousins. What are they going to do? So it's a situation where I go, it had to happen. And man, oh man, if they didn't have the Zeke contract, this would have been a better signing. And they have to pay Zeke all that money too. And I find that is the one move that is the wrinkle in this situation. Because ultimately, do I think Dak deserves the money more than Zeke? Yes. Hands down. It makes sense. On paper, it makes more sense. The Zeke deal made no sense at all. This team is still pretty good without Zeke. Now, he's good. He helps them. He's a great asset. But ultimately, in the end, who's going to have a career that's going to last longer? Who's going to have a career that's going to impact this team further? Dak or Zeke? And it's going to be Dak every single time.
Yeah,
it's going to be that quarterback every time. Unless Dak gets injured a lot and this is like maybe he's not the same anymore. I don't know. But the worst case scenario, they have him for 4 years. Okay. If something happens and let's say he gets injured again and he's just not the same player anymore, that happens. But at least you pulled the trigger on a deal that you knew and every fan of your franchise has been saying for years you needed to get done. And you finally got it done. Let's just hope that Zeke contract does not come back and haunt you.
Oh, it's going to.
Yeah.
This year, Jeff, they're going to pay the number one money for quarterback, the number one money for the running back, and the number one money in the NFL for wide receiver. And usually when three guys take up that much money, you don't win. It's not a winning formula. It's and I think that's the biggest knock on Dak Prescott is he's had really good teams. He's had a good offensive line. He's had, when him and Zeke came in, he's had one of the best running backs, and he's had good wide receivers. The wide receiver crew they got now is one of the best in the NFL. They didn't look like it this year because Dak's injury. The talent's there on offense. They do have to shore up the offensive line. Their defense is abysmal. Can Dak Prescott carry a team without help? That's the ultimate question. Jimmy Johnson came out today or yesterday. I think it was last night, actually, saying that Dak Prescott's a great quarterback, but he doesn't feel he can lead a team to the Super Bowl without plenty of help around him. When Dak's wide receivers were hurt, Dak did not look too good. Now, let's go over his numbers. His numbers have been pretty dang good. And actually, his first couple games or seasons, first four seasons, some numbers are better than Peyton Manning. His 2016 was his rookie season. He had one of the best rookie seasons in NFL history. He threw for 3,600 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. It had a QBR, Jeff, of 104.9. That's great. Fantastic. People are going, man, this guy, they picked him up in the 4th round. He looks to be, right now, he is the best quarterback out of that draft class. A lot of those other quarterbacks every quarterback except Dak Prescott is not on their team anymore. They've all been traded away or not even in the NFL. His second year, he kind of dipped down a little bit. He had 3,300 yards, 2017, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions with a QBR of 86. And then he gradually goes up from there. He threw for 3,800 yards and 4,900 yards 2019. That was a big jump. 4,900 yards this year, or 2020 season, he was on pace to throw for over 5,000 yards till the injury happened. His best quarterback rating was his rookie, but he's been in the 99 and the QBR the last 2 seasons. So it shows that he's capable. Yeah. You know, the records, he's had 2 seasons where he's won 10 games or more. He's gone 10-6 and 13-3. The other 2 years were 9-7 and 8-8. They were 2-3 before he got hurt. And there's something there, but to me, there's something missing. There's something missing around him. To have those stats, and all we heard about the 2019 was, oh man, we have the number one offense. That we have the number one scoring offense. Our offense is amazing, but you finished 8-8, right? So in the end, something is missing around Dak Prescott. Is that Dak's fault? No, that's Jerry Jones' fault. But to me, Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback. Wherever you want to put him, I have him in the top 8. Wherever you want to put him in that top 8 is up to you. He's not elite, but to me, he's a franchise quarterback. Yeah. My main concern with Dak Prescott is his lack to carry a team without any help. When that star wide receiver gets hurt, or two, because they have a good wide receiver group. 2 wide receivers get hurt. You're relying a lot on Dak Prescott. And can he get the job done? Can he, like you see elite quarterbacks in Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, they elevate their talent. They make players better. They get their wide receivers to play great. How many wide receivers have played with Tom Brady and the Patriots? They go on to sign somewhere else, and they drop off a cliff. You don't even notice them. That's because the leadership and Tom Brady and the talent, the elite talent, get those players to play at a higher level. Does Dak Prescott have that? I don't think he has it right now. Can he get it? Can he become an elite quarterback over the next 4 years? I believe that is a possibility. But to me, and also as well, you got to throw the ankle injury in there. The Cowboys said he could be 100% by next month, and I hope he is. Without seeing him, I thought the smartest thing to do was to franchise tag him to see how the ankle was. But the doctors and everything else gave the Cowboys the green light and said he's totally fine. The ankle isn't going to bug him. And I guess that's just a wait and see coming up this season. So,
to me, I look at some of this and I go, and the one thing that the stuff that it sticks out to me is, the numbers are awesome. Awesome numbers, awesome QBR, touchdowns, interception rate is up and down. Maybe I think he would have had a better interception rate this year. But it was like 13, I think, in 2017 and then 11. But so it's kind of an up and down. But that who the heck knows what that really means? A lot of that could also be play calling. But what always glares out to me is the record just never really gels with the numbers.
Right.
It never has. We're talking from 2016 to 2020, and I'll throw 2020 out. So from 2016,
they only played 5 games or 4.5.
2016 to 2019, and we're still a team that is winning a division that's horrible, one possibly, or if not, getting to a point where it comes to the last game of the season again to go to the playoffs and losing the game. Now, a lot of people want to say, "Oh no, that's Jason Garrett." Maybe it is. I don't know. But if we go through this season and he's healthy and he's playing and he's lights out and they lose these weird games. Think about it this way. He was playing that well, and people were questioning if the Cowboys were even going to make the playoffs. He was playing that well in 2020, and people were still questioning if they could even win the division. They were losing odd games to teams they should have been blowing out. Then you look at 2019, 4,900 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and a QBR of 99. Name a quarterback who would have not made the playoffs with that statistic. It's an odd, weird, strange oddity with this team that it's just constant. It's like you could have got Tom Brady and put him on this team, and somehow they would have lost in some weird way. Whether it be they lose to the Eagles in a weird game, or they lose to the Giants in a weird game, something. It always happens. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know if it's the mentality. I don't know if it's the coaching. We assume it's the coaching. Well, that can't be an assumption anymore.
It's the owners. It's the culture that is set in Dallas.
It could also be the fact that maybe Dak is okay during the season, but when these games that mean something, these games that matter, these games that are all or nothing kind of games, he may not be that good at that. And some quarterbacks aren't. Peyton Manning wasn't. He wasn't. He was a regular season quarterback.
And his playoff record's pretty bad.
His playoff record is bad, but he's one of the best. How is that? So this could be Dak. He could be that kind of quarterback where it's like when you get to the playoffs, you just can't rely. You have to rely on that defense. You have to rely on other people trying to bail him out. The Broncos won a championship in Super Bowl 50 because of their defense. It had nothing to do with Peyton Manning. So if this team is that kind of team, it's all right. He'll get you there. But after that, it's up to other people in the team to then work around that, because maybe he has a hard time dealing with that kind of pressure. It's already bad enough he plays for one of the most, polarized teams in sports, the most, it's bad enough, but you've tapped that on top of trying to win a championship under that. I don't know. What do you think? Does he fold? Is that his problem?
That's a tough one. And I think I don't want to say he folds under pressure. I think the team around him puts him in a tough spot. Fumbling the football. Last year they had an abysmal number of fumbles. Their defense is bad. Last year was one of the historically worst defenses in the league, in NFL history, actually.
Yes.
And the offense didn't help the defense out either. Put him in bad spots. I think it's too early to say he folds under pressure.
Okay.
I think it's too early. Is it heading down that path? I think so. I texted my buddies about the Dak Prescott contract. How do you feel about it? And my buddy Ryan was like, "Oh, it's a win-win for everybody. Cowboys win, Dak wins, yada yada yada." I'm like, "No, Cowboys didn't win. They would have won if they signed him 2 years ago for $28 million, $30 million.
Yeah.
You didn't win anything in this negotiation." But I asked him this simple question, Jeff, and it's not a simple answer. But I said, here's my question to all the Cowboy fans out there. If you couldn't win when Dak made no money, and you could spend to put that money towards players around him, what makes you think you can win when Dak takes up more cap space and more money? And that money can't go around and put the defense together. That money can't go around to keep CeeDee Lamb there or Amari Cooper, or that money can't go around to get a better offensive line. Is Dak going to take, because the pressure's on now, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure's on. There is no more. The same thing happened when Tony Romo. It's a good story. Tony Romo was a walk-on. Tony Romo had a fantastic career for what he was projected to even be. Dak Prescott picked up in the 4th round. No one thought he would be this good. Actually, it was a fluke he even played. It had to take a 2 quarterback injuries for him to even get a starting position, and then he never relieved it. So, can Dak? They've got to hope Dak takes that next step, and that could happen. But it's a lot of questions, and I think there was reports, and my buddies will refute this with me. I listen to 105.3 The Fan all the time. There's reports, and this is a true story, that Jerry Jones the last couple of years have looked up in the meetings and said, "Are we sure that Dak Prescott is our quarterback?" And I think that's what took a while for Jerry Jones to pay him officially. But they didn't have any other options, and you were spot on when you said it earlier. This is their best option. Jerry Jones at his age doesn't want to start over looking for another quarterback. And odds are you ain't going to get another one as in the top 10 like Dak Prescott is. So that's my simple question to all the Cowboy fans out there. And if you got answers, please let me know, because statistically speaking, when you go look at the stats, when a quarterback takes up more than 12 to 15% of your cap, you don't win Super Bowls. You don't. That's a tough position. And I understand that that's the market, and we're about to see Lamar Jackson's about to get very overpaid. I'm not a Lamar Jackson. He's a really good running back. Josh Allen's about to get paid. I do believe he deserves it. And in a couple of years, Jeff, in 4 years, we'll be looking at this going, 40 million is nothing, because the cap is just going to keep going up and up and up.
True.
But right now, it's a lot of money. He's the second highest paid quarterback in the league. A lot of pressure comes with that. So if you think he's a guy that folds under pressure, now's not the time. Definitely for that.
Yeah. I mean, there's not enough on paper. How many times did they make it to the playoffs? Twice? Once?
They made it twice. They made it twice, and Dak Prescott.
He has 2 wins or 1 win?
2 wins.
2 wins. Okay. So, that's good. And I think it's hard to judge based off of that short stint. And only these last few years, not including last year. I'm not going to include last year because that would be ridiculous. But I do think, he is a franchise quarterback, especially for a team who there's no other options to go to. No one's taking.
Let me cut in here. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
They've played in 3 games. Dak's won 1.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay.
He's won 1.
So they've been to the playoffs 3 times. Okay. Which is
twice. They played in 3 games.
Oh, okay.
Because they moved on from the first round and they lost to the Rams.
Oh, okay. I know they won 1. I just didn't know.
They beat the Lions.
Yeah. So, I mean, he has leadership ability. I think the guy is an awesome teammate. I think he's got a lot of heart, and he wants his team to win. It's not like he's like, let me boost my stats. It's more of like, I'd rather the team win than anything than have the best QBR in the league, and he doesn't come across as a very selfish player, which is good. I think that's awesome. I think that is absolutely, and for a Cowboy player to be like that, come on. That's awesome. So, but the one of the issues that I think that needs to be brought up is the offensive line. They were banged up last year.
Mm-hmm.
How put together is that offensive line going to be ready when he comes back? I mean, are we talking they're going to be better than what they were last year? Or are we talking something's wrong with this offensive line and it's going to cause some issues?
I think you look at the second on that option. I think that's one of their biggest, other than the defense. The defense is completely trash. Other than that defense, their offensive line on offense is the biggest issue. Their left tackle used to be one of the best in the league, and he still is when he's healthy, but he misses 3 to 4 games on average per year. So that they're talking about kind of looking for his kind of backup. So there's rumors that they could take a offensive lineman in the top 10. They have the number 10 spot or number 9 spot this year in the draft. They're looking at actually drafting. They could draft an offensive lineman and then use the rest on defense. So that is an area that is hurting, and they know it. Jerry Jones came out a while back and said that basically said we've been blessed to have an offensive line, and when Prescott gets paid, we're gonna have to live with a little lesser of one, and that's because the quarterback takes up a lot of money. And look, I'm there. My quarterback gets paid a lot of money, and he wants another contract, and I'm like, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on that, man. So, it's a good deal it's a deal that had to get done, and the Cowboys and a lot of their fans probably believe they can one less thing to worry about. Now they can worry about putting pieces into play.
Yeah.
What is
you could also get people in free agency. It's another thing that we're not talking about. There's going to be a lot of cuts going on because everybody's going to be salary dumping.
They came out and they locked in a cap space of $182.5 million for everyone. So it's down 8% from last year. They were projecting it to be over $200 million this year. So with COVID and the lack of revenue there, that has struck a lot of teams. And Green Bay's we got no money. We got no money. So that's hurting a lot of players or a lot of teams. Now, this is so weird to me, Jeff. So if they had to tag Dak Prescott, they would have had to guarantee him and pay him $37 million this year. They gave him a $66 million signing bonus. In this first year, they're going to pay him $75 million. But they actually save money on the cap this year, which is so crazy. I'm like, how is all this money going away year one? And somehow you're saving money. But the cap hit for Dak Prescott this season's only $22 million. The Eagles, Jeff, this is what's funny. The Eagles are going to take a cap hit of $33 million and to pay Carson Wentz to play quarterback for a different team. Wow.
I'll sit there.
Bad.
I will sit there and say that Jerry Jones he's a smart businessman. That's for sure. He knows all the tricks and the trades and he's like the little cave troll with the pots of gold. The guy knows how to find ways to make money.
This guy could sell you a poopy flavored lollipop. All right.
It doesn't surprise me. He found some kind of loop around that to not negatively affect the team. I think that you brought up a really good point, and one of the things I want to ask a lot of Cowboy fans is this: if your quarterback was a different quarterback, and I'm not talking about what was it? I'm not talking about bringing in some kind of backup and he became the quarterback, kind of what happened last year because of the injury. I'm talking about Russell Wilson. I'm talking about people like Josh Allen, right? Or you go to even like Aaron Rodgers, right? Tom Brady. Okay. We go down this list, right? And my question to you is, and to everybody, with the amount of talent that has been on this team for the last 4 years, how many times do you think you would have been to the playoffs, gone deep, and possibly even been to a Super Bowl, and ultimately could have won a Super Bowl with the amount of talent that has been on this team for 4 years? I'm not including 2020. I'm including from 2016 to 2019. If you had an Aaron Rodgers, a Tom Brady, a Russell Wilson, somebody that was a top 5 talent quarterback, or if it was in the same ballpark as Dak Prescott, would you have won something at that point with that much talent?
It's a tough question. You add Aaron Rodgers to a football team, to that team. I I argued with him back in the day. You put Aaron Rodgers on those teams that went 8-8 3 years in a row and lost the last game of the season. I'm like, he's getting to the playoffs, at least one. And that's kind of what we talked about. Well, not what we talked about earlier, but it's that elite factor. And that, to me, the elite quarterback steps up his game and the players around him, and they get past that point. And Ryan, my buddy, talked to me, and he said, "Oh, we should definitely win our division next year." I said, "The division it should be your low bar. If you don't win your pathetic division next year, there should be hellfire raining down from the Cowboy fans onto the Dallas Cowboys. This division, Jeff, has turned into what the Patriots' old division was. When the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills all sucked. This is that division. Well, go look at the division. You got the Washington football team, who doesn't have a quarterback.
Or a name.
Or even a freaking name. You've got the Eagles, who drafted Jalen Hurts, who got rid of their other starting quarterback. And their owner came out this week saying he has to be our starter, make it work. Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback. They are going to fail. And then you got the New York Giants. And they're 8-8 team, if that. You never know. They don't got much talent. They don't have a lot of wide receivers. Their defense is decent. Who is their quarterback? Daniel Jones, is he good? Is he going to be the franchise quarterback? I don't think so. If the Cowboys come out this season, Jeff, and Dak Prescott cannot win, if all healthy, the division, and I don't even care how bad your defense is, that would be like, all right, that's a big red flag. That is ridiculous. So the division for the Cowboys should be the low bar, the lowest bar possible to hit.
I completely agree. It was one of the worst divisions. Matter of fact, even with that out, I assumed they would win the division still. That's how bad that division is. I assumed they would win, and they didn't. Okay, whatever. But, my other issue when it comes to, Cowboy fans, that they think they should ask themselves, and probably if they could answer this, it would be awesome. But I'd love to know why they think Jerry Jones hesitated. What did he see? What did he not see? Is my question. This is a dude who saw Troy Aikman and Tony Romo, right? What did he not see in Dak that he was afraid or reluctant to pull the trigger on a deal, ultimately costing him another $20 million? Okay. What did he not see? What was the hesitation on that? What do you think?
Well, I think it's all the questions we have now. Is he that elite quarterback? And every time, if you go look at all the people that always say this about Dak, every time someone gives props to Dak, it's always about his leadership. He's a great leader. He's a great, in the locker room guy. It's never, man, this guy's arm talent is by far the best I've seen. Or this guy's ability to get out of the pockets. It's always leadership first. It's never like you look at Patrick Mahomes. That guy can throw he's sideways on the ground. He's throwing 40 yards down the field. His accuracy, arm talent. It's always comes to Dak. It's always, that guy's a great leader. And being a great leader is fantastic. You need a great leader.
Mm-hmm.
But being a leader alone doesn't win you championships. It's all part of it. But it's not what's going to be the next thing. It's so funny because everyone with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers about Tom Brady. Oh, Tom Brady texted Stall before the game and, said, let's go out and win the Super Bowl. And they're like, oh, Tom Brady's such a great leader. Now, Tom Brady is probably is a really good leader, but I'm like, people blow these stories out over a text message. I'm sure people send text messages to people all the time. You know what I mean? So I just found it funny. But Dak Prescott is a good leader. But does that ultimately win you football games?
My thing is you know who else is a good leader?
Who?
Philip Rivers. You know who else is a good leader? Dan Marino.
Tony Romo.
Tony Romo was a good leader, but he didn't win.
Right.
They didn't win.
I think that's what Jerry Jones is saying. He looks at all the stats and go, man, these stats right here that Dak Prescott has, why are they not leading to wins? And look, Jeff, I hear this excuse all the time. Well, our defense is so bad, Jeff. Our defense. I understand. But when and then this is the difference between an elite quarterback and a non-elite quarterback. Aaron Rodgers went 15-1 with a 30th ranked defense in the league. You know why, Jeff? Because he's elite. Now, a defense in the playoffs don't get you very far. Every game that the Packers have lost in the playoffs, their defense has given up over 30 some odd points or 40 points. It's crazy if you look at the playoffs. So at a certain point, that can become an excuse. But to win regular season games and to win a bad division, and this division wasn't that bad in 2019. So I give the Dallas Cowboys a mulligan for last season, because if Green Bay loses Aaron Rodgers, we're done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right.
So,
and I can't say anything because I had a wide receiver as quarterback at one point.
Yeah. You need a new quarterback, but that's beside the point. I got a question for you, Jeff. Kind of going back, if you want to compare Dak Prescott to Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson, these guys are, around the same age. They're going to be linked around the same time coming into the league, the next up and comers. Where does Dak fall within those? Within those four quarterbacks I just named, the biggest. I mean, he compares a lot with Deshaun Watson, but I think Deshaun Watson's better than Dak Prescott, and I for one and one only reason. Dak Prescott has better talent than Deshaun Watson does. Dak Prescott has more talent than Deshaun Watson does. Deshaun Watson had one. The Houston Texans, Jeff, were 4-12 last year. But go look at Deshaun Watson's career or his stats. They're insane. They're great. He's in the top numbers and everything. I believe I would probably rank it, Jeff. Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, probably number 2 for now. Josh Allen, and then Lamar Jackson. Not Phillip Rivers. What's his name?
What?
Carson Wentz used to be in that category because he came in. He was in the same draft class as Dak Prescott, but he's completely fallen off the cliff, and we'll see what he could do in Indianapolis. But if I told you between the 4 quarterbacks I just named, how are you ranking those? Where are you putting them? Who's better than who?
I don't disagree with the rankings at all. What would have Deshaun Watson done with this team 4 years ago? Let's go back to 2019. 2019 Dallas Cowboys. Deshaun Watson is the quarterback for the Cowboys. I mean,
probably 10-6. They were 8-8 with Dak. They probably go 10-6. Deshaun Watson usually drags the Houston Texans to 10 wins every year, and it's not much. They're not. Go look at their roster. They're not very talented. Yeah, they had DeAndre Hopkins, and he's fantastic. They got rid of him. They had J.J. Watt, but he's hurt most of the time. Javon Clowney, but he's been one of the biggest underachievers in NFL history. So he doesn't have a whole lot of talent around him.
Yeah.
But they would win 10
Oh
games
yeah,
a year.
yeah. It would have turned the Cowboys. They would have definitely won the division. And I think they would have gone deep in the playoffs as well. I mean, maybe not all the way to the Super Bowl, but definitely deep in the playoffs.
And that's the weirdest thing with this team, Jeff.
It is weird.
It's his numbers. His numbers
Yeah.
are fantastic,
Yeah.
but something's missing. And
So
they
was-
got to figure out what that is.
I mean, what's the excuse? Eventually, the thing is, I used to think this. I used to think, you know what? It's the coach. It's always the coach. Okay. Tom Brady's success. It's the coach. It's the coach. And I used to think that a lot until recently, till this last season, where he went to Tampa and won without Belichick. And then I thought, you know what? These guys still have to play. They have to produce. They have to make decisions too. And sometimes plays break down. Let's say that, the play they ran was picked up. Somebody has to pick that play up and go, okay, this play's breaking down. I need to think on the fly. Patrick Mahomes does it all the time. All the time. That's why it's so difficult to defend against him, because you think you have him, and then he somehow gets into a position to where he attacks, but he breaks the play off at that point because the play broke down. My thing is, when are we going to stop blaming the coaches? When will we finally say, you know what? Just maybe we do have a Tony Romo 2.0. Just maybe.
Here's an issue that Jerry Jones has, and it hasn't been brought up a lot. So he hired Jason Garrett. He held on to him for 10 years. Woo. They fired him. The problem is Jerry Jones hires players and coaches and pays them for what they've already done and not what you're going to do. When you play a player, it's not for what you've already done. It's what you project the player to be and do. He paid Ezekiel Elliott not on what he thought he was going to do, but he paid him for all he was good at the time. Oh, I'm going to pay him this big, huge contract. He's the best running back in the league. And where does that go? The money hasn't even kicked in yet, and Ezekiel Elliott's going down the drain. Same thing with Coach McCarthy. They hired Coach McCarthy from Green Bay. First of all, Coach, thanks for helping us win a Super Bowl. At the end of Green Bay's career, you were bad. You were pathetic. You were the reason we sucked so bad. They got rid of him. They hired him, and Jerry Jones hired him. And all you heard from Jerry was, "Oh, he's done it before. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been there before. Hey, we know he can do it." But they don't look at the fact that he hasn't won a Super Bowl. And it's been 10 seasons. It's been a decade, Jeff. He's had success getting to the playoffs with an elite quarterback, though, Aaron Rodgers, I might add. But they talk about this on G-Bag Nation a couple times. But his record in his last 25 games or 20 games is abysmal. It's horrible. If you look at his recent track history, it's not good. So I don't know if Coach McCarthy will pan out there, but I think that's another issue too. It's negotiating contract. It's paying guys that should get paid. It's hiring coaches that maybe weren't the best fit for you. Maybe Coach McCarthy's not the right answer. I know it's only been 1 year, but go look at McCarthy's track record. It's not very good at the end of his career in Green Bay. And a lot of people, the media, are going to say, well, it's Aaron Rodgers' fault, and they didn't get along with him, and blah, 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 blah. But go look at their records. They weren't very good. So I think that's a problem there in with Dallas, and that's a Jerry Jones issue. And a lot of these issues, Jeff, and I think a lot of fans will tell you the ownership is the issue in Dallas, but you can't change that. So there's no reason to there's no reason to sit here and complain about it. Oh, that because it's not. Nothing's going to change until Jerry Jones passes away, and that's just the fact.
I mean, the thing is when you talk about uh, franchise teams, story franchise teams, the Cowboys are a story franchise team. This is a franchise that has been making history since its existence. I mean, and they've been doing things, and they're uh, high selling merchandise or the top. I would say in terms of sports teams and memorabilia and fan base, they're among the elites, among the tops. When you're talking about teams like that, you're talking about fans and expectations and everything else. You have to come to an understanding, and this is coming from somebody who's a Yankee fan. Okay, you got to look at it this way: not every single thing your team does turns to gold. It just doesn't. You're gonna bust. You're gonna miss on players. You're gonna get busts, and that's just it. It is a fact. So just because you all of a sudden you got an offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore, he's the next Bill Belichick. He's the next. And it's just like it's impossible for a team to land every single time. You cannot do it. You are going to miss on some things. Look at the Green Bay Packers. I mean, do they miss on players?
All the time.
Okay. But
sad as it is.
But again, well, let's take a look to another team. Let's take a look to another team. The Lakers, right? You are a Laker fan. So let's break this down that Cowboy fans can understand. I am a Yankee fan, storied franchise, one of the top selling team merchandising in the world. Okay. The Cowboys, same thing. The Lakers, same thing. What is the one thing that you have to understand as a fan? Everything we touch does not turn to gold. You're going to get a bag of coal sometimes. That's just it. That's it. You may think, oh man, like for the Yankees, Gary Sanchez, everyone thought he was the greatest, whatever. And he had a horrible last couple of years. And there are people even within the organization that are talking about him gone. He's not anything anymore. Like, so if you have to understand, have some humility and go, just because we got Coach McCarthy doesn't mean he's the next greatest coach of all time. Is this Jimmy Johnson 3.0 or 2.0? No. So don't treat him like that. Like, he's going to be an okay coach. He may not ever be a great coach, but not just because he's donning the star. He's the great coach. He's a great head coach. He's going to propel this team. Come on.
Telling you, it's a culture that they build because they put that star on. And Dallas,
Brian, we have the same culture. The Yankee fans have the same culture. Your Laker fans have the same culture.
I know.
But you got to understand, even your fans boo their players.
Mm-hmm.
Yankee fans booed Babe Ruth. He had a bad year, and they booed him out of the stadium. Cowboy fans, would they ever boo their players at a home game?
I think I've seen it every now and then, but it doesn't happen
it's rare.
very often.
Rare. Very rare. Usually it's blaming something, coaches, refs, or whatever. And it's just like, that's my thing. Have humility. You're not going to hit every time. You're going to have misses. Maybe Ezekiel Elliott isn't the greatest running back to ever don the star. Just maybe he's not. Maybe he's not the second coming of Emmitt Smith.
Yeah,
is that possible?
I'm never drafting him in fantasy ever again. Here, let's end this on this. I got one question for you. It's a simple one-word answer. Who won this trade, Jeff? Dallas or Dak Prescott?
Dak Prescott.
It's Dak Prescott, 100%. Dak
You want to know
Prescott,
why?
100%.
I think it's Dak Prescott because Dak got the deal he wanted. Dak
got
got the
everything he
deal he
wanted.
wanted. He doesn't have to worry. In 4 years, if Dak says, I'm done, right? If he says, I'm done, it's like, okay, well, then he can walk. He can go anywhere. He can go play in New England. He can go anywhere. He could go to Tampa Bay, take over. He could go anywhere. And the Cowboys would be left with Jack because there's nothing they could have done about it. They can't franchise tag him. They can't do anything. They can't trade him. He won the deal. Period.
Oh, it's perfect. Dak Prescott bent Jerry Jones to the table and got everything he wanted.
Yep.
Zeke Elliott did the same thing.
Yep. And
so
this
it's
is
a
what I'm
pretty-
saying. I come to now the conclusion that, you know what, Jerry Jones ain't tough as he seems. And these
Not
players
anymore.
know that. These players know that now.
Yeah.
They know they can tell and dictate and do what they want and hold out and wait and get the money they want from him, and he'll cave. So we know that now.
Yep. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right. Well, that is our Dak Prescott spotlight of the week this week. So I hope you Cowboy fans are listening. And hey, look, I know a lot of you are probably gonna be mad. Get all mad. You were mad at Jimmy Johnson's comments, but it's the truth. And until Dak proves us wrong, we'll see and go from there. But let's go ahead and jump over to the headlines of the week. And now that Dak Prescott has finally signed a contract and this is no longer hanging over the heads of the topic anymore, we got the franchise tag day. And basically, there's a exclusive tag and a non-exclusive tag. An exclusive tag means it's a 1-year contract. You're paid top 5% of that position, and you're playing for that team no matter what. A non-exclusive is the same thing, except you can get offers from other teams, and then the team that tagged you can match that offer. So those are the difference in the tags. These are the main players, Jeff, that got tagged this last week. Marcus Williams from the Saints, Justin Simmons from Denver, safety.
Yep.
Taylor Motton from the Panthers, he's a tackle. You got Marcus May from the Jets. Leonard Williams from the Giants. Brandon, I think it's Schreff. He plays for the Washington. Chris Godwin from Tampa Bay. They tagged him and not Shaq Barrett. So interesting to see if Shaq Barrett goes somewhere else when he hits the market. Cam Robinson from the Jags. And then finally, Allen Robinson from Chicago. They would be dumb to let him go. Those are the players that are tagged. And the only one, the Chris Godwin is a big name. Justin Simmons, I know you know, Jeff, is your
Justin
safety.
Simmons.
Isn't he the guy that you wanted him to get the deal done?
Yeah, I did. Denver needs to pay him. I'm sick of it. I understand maybe it's not going to happen this year, and I get it. So cap will raise next year, and that's fine. We'll finally have some form of a normalcy year for football. They'll make some money, and then he will pay him. Justin Simmons will be paid. He's good. He's really good. And the other thing is the Shaq Barrett thing. I did not know that. Come back to Denver.
He played for Denver. I didn't know he played for Denver.
Oh man, sack for Shaq. Man, that guy was like ridiculous. Oh man,
yeah,
it was good. He was
they
good.
They didn't tag him, so he's gonna hit free agency, and they might sign him back. I don't know why you would leave Tom Brady and that championship team, but
man, I'm telling you, if they got Shaq Barrett back on that defense, man, that would be elite. That front core would be dude.
Let me ask you this, Jeff. You think Von Miller's a Denver Bronco this season?
Yes. Okay. Why? I will say now that they will restructure the contract. I'm pretty sure they'll restructure the contract. Von Miller wants to stay in Denver. I don't think he wants to go anywhere else. He's never said he wants to go anywhere else. That whole ordeal that happened with
we still have no idea
whoever that's dropped. The district attorney in Denver dropped it. it's over. Whatever it was, we'll never know.
Yeah.
But Von Miller is not in trouble with the law. So because of that, I think he stays in Denver. I think he restructures a contract. I think he will finish his career in Denver. He will have a plaque at the front of the Mile High Stadium, and that'll
Probably
be
a
that.
statue. Of a statue.
Yeah.
He's a king in Denver. I don't see why you leave. And the Denver Broncos came out the other day and said, pending on that, if he has any charges, will depend on where he remains in Denver. So there's no charges on the mysterious, whatever it was against him. So that's good news there in Denver and Von Miller. And you like to see those guys stay where they're at and end up with the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Ertz rumored to be traded sometime soon. The Eagles are looking at trading him, as multiple teams called asking about Zach Ertz. He's a good tight end. He's kind of fell off the map the last couple of years. We'll see if he can go somewhere else though and kind of revive his career. He used to be really good, but who knows? Maybe leaving that organization with Philadelphia will be better for him, because that seems to be like a dumpster fire. And I don't think I've seen a team become a dumpster fire so fast after winning the championship, but that is the Eagles.
Oh no, the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, they trade everybody away. Yeah, they got rid of the whole team.
No, that was pretty good.
That was pretty funny.
So, hey, maybe he goes to Green Bay.
We don't have any money, Jeff.
Oh, he'll pay for that. He'll play for peanuts. He'll play for peanuts. Yeah. Anything to get out of Philadelphia. Come on now.
Green Bay didn't franchise tag Aaron Jones, and Green Bay doesn't use a franchise tag, Jeff. I can't tell you the last time we've ever used it. Ever. I knew Aaron Jones was as good as gone when he turned down at the top. They offered him a top 5 money. He turned it down. I said, all right, we'll see you later. And I love Aaron Jones, Jeff. Great running back. He could do so much. I don't believe paying in running backs, so I'm glad he turned the top 5 the money down, and he will be playing for someone else. My issue with Green Bay, if you know you can't sign him back, trade him and get something back for him. That's my biggest issue. You let this talent just walk right on out the flipping door. I hate it. We do that all the time. I'm like, why didn't we trade him? If you knew you weren't going to be able to sign him. Anyways, we're letting Corey Lindsey go too, one of the best graded center in the league, and we can't pay him.
Stay tuned, people, because the free agent market in the NFL is going to be insane.
Yes. University of Kansas parts ways. They mutually agreed to part ways with Les Miles. After reports came out when Les Miles was at LSU of some inappropriate behavior and time spent alone with women students, Jeff. Do you think it's ever a good idea? Just Jeff, just a common sense rule. You're a guy. You're coach of a university.
Maybe.
Did you just assume my gender? Is that what this is, Jeff? So, is it ever a good idea to be alone off campus with a woman student, Jeff? Ever?
No.
Okay, there you go. So, plain and simple. Apparently, this and LSU. There was reports that while what's his face, there was a running back there. I forget his freaking name. There was 3 women that came out and said that he raped them. And LSU, it would have been one of the biggest schools to go down for this. That's all that story has just disappeared. You won't even hear that at all. So they pit Les Miles, they suspended him, and then they ended up mutually agreeing to part ways with his sketchy, ignorant behavior in LSU. So
when we live in the day and age that we live in, how hard is it for people to understand that during all the Me Too movement, how ridiculous do you have to be? How dumb do you have to be like, oh no, I'm going to try this right now? Are you kidding? You have the whole world now is like, if you do anything, like anything inappropriate like that, you're coming down. No one's getting away with it. No one's getting away with it. I don't condone any of it, but nobody is getting away with any of this today. Period. It doesn't matter who you are.
Now, this did happen in 2012, but
Yeah. But
it doesn't
but
matter.
still,
It doesn't matter.
like even who knows if it stopped then?
Oh yeah,
We don't know that.
It's common sense.
Yeah, we don't know that.
Common
So
sense.
people are doing that right now still. I'm like, you got to be kidding. Like you're going down. Like you're not going to get away with any of it for that long, especially now. Now people are not afraid to speak up. They will speak out. Reminds me of the Athlete A situation still. What the heck is going on? Here we go with another franchise, another uh, uh, victory and very prestigious school, worried about its name, worried about its reputation. Here we go. It's the same thing again. And it's just like, come on, stop.
There's a lot of shady stuff going on, and especially in college and the USA Gymnastics. If you haven't watch Athlete A, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. The last headline I got, Jeff, and it's not even really a headline, and I just talking about it because I'm making fun of it. So the NBA All-Star game was this last weekend, and no one cares that it's on. No one watches. It was 170.
I cared.
It was
I
170.
cared,
You did not.
damn it.
You didn't watch 1 second of it.
Yeah,
170 to 150. Blah 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 blah. The freaking Curry won the 3-point contest. And Jeff, this is how ridiculous it's become. The dunk contest. When I found out that there was a player in the dunk contest, Jeff, that hasn't even attempted one dunk in an NBA game, but he's in the dunk contest, I was already like, are you kidding me? Can they not get some names in this thing? No one wants to be in it. You got no names up there, and I can't even tell you one name of the person who's in it. So I just kind of put it on here to make fun of it.
Well, Vince Carter came back and he dunked.
Oh, gosh.
And no, I'm kidding.
On an 8-foot rim. No.
I don't know. They
Now
didn't
we
even want
know.
to. First of all, they didn't want to be a part of it.
No.
They didn't want to be a part of it, and they're obligated. I don't know if it's contractually obligated. Is that something under? Okay, well then there you go. And
it's something with the Players Association and the NBA, and that's something. LeBron spoke out against this. Not that LeBron has final say, but that's something that they agreed on, that there wouldn't be no All-Star game during the season. And then last minute, the NFL Players Association group agreed with the NBA to do an All-Star game. So it wasn't something they planned on doing. And I think that's why there was a big backlash against it.
So wait, the Players Association and the National Basketball Association agreed?
They eventually agreed on it. Yeah. And
but if a lot of them were not in favor of it, how could the Players Association?
I don't know if it's a voting type thing. Maybe more players were into it than originally thought.
Maybe.
I don't know. I just know, and a lot of people go off of just what LeBron James says, because he came out publicly and said, I don't want to do it.
I don't blame him. The guy's tired.
I don't blame him either. Yeah, he's tired. Yeah, he's exhausted. So this, all the All-Star game means to me is we were halfway through the NBA season. So that coming down the stretch, we'll figure out who's going to be in what. But
it's a weird thing, I mean,
it's coming down to the Nets have a super team, and they're looking at adding another Andre Drummond from the Cavaliers, even though he wants to play for the Lakers. He said that I want to go play in LA. I want to play for the Lakers. Why won't the Lakers trade for him, Jeff? It's driving me insane. Trade for him. they're hoping that if he gets bought out and not traded, then he can sign. We don't have to give up anybody for him. That's the hope. But we just signed some center, some no-name center, so I don't even know what's going to happen. But the Nets are a super team, and good luck to whoever is going to face them in the championship because you're probably not going to win. And that's killed my basketball mood, Jeff. I hate it. I hate super teams. I hate it. The Golden State Warriors ruined basketball for 3 years with that crap. I hated it. You knew who was going to be in the finals. And luckily, LeBron was able to beat them one time.
Yeah.
So hopefully that happens again.
It's kind of interesting because I think a lot of the populace, they don't like them either. They don't like super teams either. And I mean, I'm sure there's some that do, but
if
overall,
they're your team, yeah, you probably do. You probably like it.
Well,
if you're a fan of that team. But
I mean, I think, and to me, it's like it gets to a point where I remember one time I went in to go get a beard trim and a haircut and stuff, and the guy was like, "Oh, are you going to watch the finals?" And I'm like, who's in it? And we're like, "Oh, the Warriors and the Warriors and some." I was like, "They're in it again?" He goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to watch it."
It's not good for
I was like, "Doesn't that get boring?" He goes, "Well, kind of." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, because you already know who's going to be there. Like, it's kind of ridiculous." So ultimately, I think if enough of that happens, people get bored of it, people get tired of it, and they just get to a point where it's like, I don't even care.
Yeah,
like
it's exactly where I'm at. So I mean, the Lakers still have a good chance. We get Anthony Davis back healthy and get going. But we'll see what happens. And good luck if it's Lakers and Nets in championship. Good luck stopping Anthony Davis down low because you don't got anybody that can guard Anthony Davis down low. It's going to be all day for him. So we'll see. That super team's kind of draining my energy or any care to the NBA season. And I already have no care for the Texas Rangers this year. And the Dallas Stars are garbage so far. And it's just not looking good for my life outside of football other than the Lakers. But like I said, the Nets are probably going to win it all. But all right, Jeff, it's that time, buddy. What's in your locker this week?
What's in my locker? I have I've been paying attention to some more spring training baseball. I was talking about him earlier, not doing very well, or not having a good couple of seasons. But Gary Sanchez seems like he's trying to bounce back and trying to claw back to his former great self. He's already have 3 home runs already in the spring training. Bat wise, it seems like he's on it. He's very a streaky player, so I don't get too excited too quickly for him. But it is a good sign to see bat on ball, not swing and miss. And so that's one of the things I've been paying attention to. The other thing that I've also been paying attention to is MLB The Show. I want to see some more. They're going to do some live streams tomorrow. So I want to see some more of that. And one thing that I definitely was kind of looking at the other day, actually today, was that I found out that Last of Us multiplayer is going to be more of a games first service. So kind of like how games like The Division or games like Call of Duty Warzone, where they always have events, they always have things that come up, and it seems like PlayStation is looking into that same thing where it's like this is going to be a multiplayer game that will last for a very long time. So that was exciting. Some exciting news that I found out about that today. But other than that, what's in your locker, Brian?
All right, my locker this week, they have the frame of the house up, so that's coming along really well. They're hoping to get the roof on this week. It's supposed to start raining tomorrow and rain for 4 days, so hopefully that roof is on there. If not, it probably won't happen until next week.
So hopefully the roof is on there.
Hopefully. We started packing up the house this week. So that has begun. The stage of packing, the dreading of packing is upon us, Jeff. And I want to give a quick shout out, and I've acknowledged this week that Aaron Jones is leaving Green Bay, Jeff. That's what I want to acknowledge this week. I need to get his jersey. I don't get a whole lot of jerseys, but I used to get players that mean something to the team or leave a legacy. I need to get his jersey. I think he was one of the best running backs in the league. Very underrated running back in the league. Very great attitude. I wish you farewell, Aaron Jones, wherever you may go. And I'm also waiting on this next stimulus check, Jeff. I think we kind of all are, if you're getting it out there. And I hope those that need it get it. Now, I don't necessarily need it, but I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to bank, Jeff, off this stimulus check.
Well, I mean, I look at it as hey man, we all got messed up because of it. We all had to do and freak out and fight for stuff and worry if we didn't have toilet paper and it's just like, hey, if you want to give us something, man, whatever, like do something, I guess, because
Right.
it's just
I
like
mean,
that.
I told my buddy the other day that, and I don't want to get all political, and there's a bunch of different sides you can take and all sorts of things. But I told my buddy the other day is I've taken the money and I haven't gone out and I haven't blown it, taken the money and I've bettered my family. I've bettered off my family situation. My first check, I paid off debt. My second check, I got the down payment for my house sitting in my bank account. And the third check coming up is going to refurnish my whole brand new house. And it's just bettering off my family. I'm using it towards good money. It's money that's coming my way, whether I want it or not,
Right?
Whether I need it or not.
It's your money.
So
I mean,
well, eventually our kids will have to pay back this $1.9 trillion, and we'll be paying for it in higher gas prices and all that crap and taxes. But it is what it is. It got passed. The money will hit my bank account, and I'm not turning around. I'm not turning that down. So it is what it is. So that's what we got looking forward to this week in our locker. If you want to tell us what's in your locker, feel free to email us at watsonsplaybook@gmail.com. Leave us a Facebook message at Watson's Playbook Facebook page. I'm on Twitter. You can find us on any platform. Google Music, Google Music actually is no longer available. It's Google Podcast, Apple Music. We're on YouTube channel, trying to spread the word, get us out there.
Spotify.
Spotify. Like us, share us, pass us along. We do this for fun. We're just trying to do something we like and enjoy, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it too and want to jump on for the ride.
We might even do some extra episodes that we can distribute at some point where Brian and I we're not talking about necessarily highlights of the week, but maybe just like a topic that we really want to talk about that we're into, like what drew us into sports, what drew us into franchises we like and pay attention to.
I think that's the big one, and I want to do that sooner than later, because you might want to know why I'm a Packer fan and a Laker fan and a Ranger fan. It just seems three random things. So that's what we talked about, and so we started trying to look at what's trending on the internet and kind of discuss that here, so we can be, maybe have a better topic for you guys that you're more interested in listening to. So look for those, like Jeff said, those random videos that will pop up and maybe tell you a little something about me or Jeff or whatnot. So.
All right, man. Well, I will stay safe, everybody. Hope everybody gets. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Sorry, one thing I forgot to ask. Speaking of stay safe, today is the day that Texas opened up 100% and stopped the mask mandate. Now, I went into gas stations. they took all the mask signs off. People were walking around without their masks, and people still have their masks on. Be respectful. If you want to wear your mask, wear your mask. If the next person next to you doesn't want to wear their mask, then don't. Don't say anything to them. And if you have a problem with people wearing masks, don't. Just go about your own business. Wear your mask if you want to. If you don't want to, don't wear it. If a store says you must wear a mask, you must wear a mask. It's that simple. We've been doing it for a year now. It's that simple. Another thing is the Dallas Cowboys and the Texas Rangers are looking to open up full capacity 100% stadiums this year. Mark Cuban said before the end of the season, you could see full Dallas Maverick games. So we are starting to get to the point where people feel comfortable on opening up. That's good. Now, it was March 10th, I believe, was the year from when everything shut down, Jeff. And I got to thinking, this is our year anniversary. We started this podcast one day before sports ceased to exist in the world. So it was kind of funny and ironic, and just one of those things that I started it, and then 2 days later, it was like 1 or 2 days later that the whole sports world shut down. And I'm like, great, I just started a sports podcast. This is going to be interesting. So I just wanted to bring that up too, our year anniversary. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I think it's been a crazy ride, man. But there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Everybody just needs to wait on a little bit longer, hang on a little bit longer. Whether it's Texas, or it's like my state. I think they still have the mask mandates and stuff, but just do whatever it's easy for you. I know me and my wife, we go on hikes. Sometimes I don't wear the mask because we're kind of outside and stuff, but she does. So it's just kind of, you do what you feel is comfortable for you. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, we're all living in the same world. So just stay safe.
Right. Stay safe, stay smart, be respectful. It's really not that difficult. But I hope you guys have a good week. Thanks for jumping on and listening to this episode. God bless you guys. And thanks again, Jeff, for jumping on with me.
No problem, man. Bye.
Bye.